Hello gang, John with Rock County Jet Ski, Watcon.com. Welcome to Watercraft Talk. On today's video, I've got a Yamaha 701 here up on the bench, and we have been asked a while ago, forgive me, I don't remember who it was, but we were asked to do a specific video on leak down tests. And I thought, you know what, let's do that. I think that's a good idea. So I've got a Yamaha 701 that we just recently pulled out of I think it was a Wave Venture. I've got it marked, it ran good, it was a good running machine. The motor's a little crusty looking, and we'll take it apart and go through it. But before I do, I'll show you how we do a leak down test, and do one for you start to finish, and we'll discuss about that and what we use. So first off, I've got a snap-on cooling system tester that I use for multiple things, but it works very well. I take the brass fitting off, and it's just a pump with a gauge. So I use this I used to use it all the time for Sea-Doo jet pumps and for many different things. Gosh, and now I see the hose is cracked here, Chris. I'm gonna go cut that quick, just because I want that to be not an issue. So there, our snap-on cooling system pressure tester. Then I've got just a little tackle box here that I've assembled over the years, and I had all kinds of stuff in here, but we use these rubber expandable freeze plugs. You can get these like at McMaster Car. I may or may not, I keep saying I'm going to put a kit together. There's just so many different ones needed for so many different engines, it's hard to know what you need. But I've kind of got just a whole junk box here full of stuff. This is one that I'm going to use. This will fit in that pipe there, and these two, I believe, will go in the intake manifold. So, oops, we're dropping stuff. So the idea is to block up and plug up your engine. Depending on the exhaust and the configuration, the intake manifold's pretty basic. Single carb, dual carb. You just find your rubber plugs that fit in the hole nicely, and I'm gonna just go ahead and tighten those up while we're right here. And you just kind of snug them, and I leave it sticking up a little bit, just so the rubber squishes out, hoping for a better seal. So there's that. Those are tight. Now, depending on, this is where it gets interesting always, is the exhaust side. Aftermarket manifold with an upsweep exhaust manifold, you can put this right in the middle. For like a B-pipe type manifold or a Cowie manifold, very easy to do. Different engines and different pipe combinations, 550 for instance, Kawasaki 550 with a bread box. I actually plug the bottom of the exhaust pipe, and then you end up pressurizing the whole cooling system. If you do that, you've got to cap off all water cooling fittings, or you got air coming out of that. So depending on how you do it, this one I'm going to be able to, there's a little gappage there, but we're going to be able to get this in there because I have done it before. And that will expand, and then it only plugs the exhaust, and we don't have to worry about the cooling. And I can see squish. Now, sometimes depending on how tight you got to get it, I'll use some channel locks, and different times I'll hold the ring as I'm tightening it to keep it from spinning, but that time I didn't have to do that. So now our engine potentially is blocked off. I'm going to use my little pumper, and we will spin this around. here, and I go right on the pulse line fitting with this. You make sure you got your spark plugs in and tight. Now that I cut that hose off, of course, she's tight, which is good. Now, and now you just pump it up, and you don't want to pump it to anything more than about 7 or 8 pounds. Anything more, and you can and will blow out the crank seals. So I'm pumping. I'm at 5. There's about 8, if you can see that or not. And if you look, it is slowly leaking. There it goes. It's been my experience that an engine either holds or it doesn't. So what I have here, this is just simple green mixed with some water and a spray bottle. And now what I'll do, we've got a little leakage there. There, we got some leakage. And I think my fitting there, I'm guessing, is probably bad. I got nothing at the rear crank seal. Nothing really there. Could have checked the exhaust manifold. Over here, nothing there. So that's a definite leak, and that has nothing to do with the engine. Intake manifold. Nothing. Front crank seal. And we got a leak at the case. Look at that. That's not the case. That's not the crank seal. That's a leak at the engine case, where the case halves go together. So I think our substantial leak, though, is my plug here, and I could probably change that out. In fact, let's do that here quick, Chris. Find a different. I noticed when I was looking at this that it was kind of, the rubber is kind of dry rotted and cracked. That's old. So that is a 1 and something. That's the same size, and that one's a little better shape. Some of these are just 100 years old and have been, that is not the same size. Okay. That one is 1.5. Snug that up. Pump it up again. Okay. Now we're holding much better. Just spray around our plug here again. Yeah, we got no leak there. Still have a pretty good leak there. But it seems to be, it's not, oh, my hand is in the way, I'm sorry. It's not dropping too bad. It's dropping very slow, and I'm sure it's that. So really, we need to, and this motor's coming apart anyway, but we need to split the case and reseal it up. I'd put new seals in it anyway, and reseal the case with some case sealer. So there you have it. There is one example of doing a leak down test, and that applies to any two-stroke engines. Very important to do. as you're diagnosing your fuel system, and if you're running lean, I always say on these old engines, it's very popular the crank seals are bad. And generally it'll bubble just like that all the way around the crank seal if the crank seal is truly leaking. And then you can even turn the motor and, you know, see if it, grab the coupler here and see if it gets better or worse, but actually that's the case. That's the case half leaking right from and this motor's never been apart. That's factory sealer on there yet. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, I hope you find that informative, and I hope it helps you with the tuning and maintenance of your machine. If you like this, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, like, tag, share, and follow us. It really does help our channel grow. As always, when you're out and about out there, please be nice to each other. And the next time, we'll see you out on the water.